In the next verse, verse 5, not a critical verse, Shri Krishna shares those who don't know this, what he just taught, those who don't know Purusha, all they know is Prakriti. They don't know that which is causal. They only know that which is subtle. What comes with Prakriti is gunas. Prakriti expresses as gunas like white light, expresses as the rainbow. These gunas, from the worst to the best, the worst is tama, felt as laziness. Better than that, raja, felt as aggressiveness. And the best is sattva, felt as quietness. In verse 5, though, Shri Krishna is unambiguous in sharing all of these good gunas are nibadnanti. They are all binding. They are all relative and keep you relative. You may swing more towards creation, more towards the creator, but none of these are of the nature of consciousness. That is beyond. Now, geeking out on this word, nibadnanti, built into the word nibadnanti, is bad. All of these gunas are bad. In verses 6 to 16, Shri Krishna goes on to share amazing insights into these gunas, what they are, what they do, how they're mixed. He even shares how, if one dies based on one's gunas, will one be born as a human or an animal or a plant? So everyone who's more interested in the next life than this life, please study these verses. You may be someone's pet in the next life. And so now we go to verse 17. From 4 to 17. That's the second most important verse in this chapter. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada mohau tamasaha bhavato jnanameva cha. Joy. This verse is important specifically for the first quarter. Sattva, from sattva or quietness, sanjayate, what arises, what is born, is jnana. Knowledge, but more powerfully, insight. The quieter one is, and I mean that in their inner world, the more insightful they are. The quieter one is, the more one tunes their inner world to the divine's mind. God's plan. Drake sings about God's plan like he knows God's plan, but really those who are sattvic, they know God's plan. I distinctly remember Pujaswami Tejramananda sharing, knowledge is that which quietens. And he shared this right in the beginning of the Vedanta course, which really challenged me then. My prior education and profession, was it really knowledge-oriented? My degree, did it make me quieter? My profession, did it make me quieter? It made me realize that for 20 years of schooling and years of working was actually not knowledge-oriented. And that's why earlier this week I had shared, we have now completed more than 10 college classes in Meaningful Mornings. We are earning our sacred degree, and what's lovely about this is you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to frame it and put it on your wall. Now all of you are looking around, oh, I have all of my degrees in my wallet to cover them. Comparatively, Raja, Lobha Eva. The Raja, or aggressiveness, what does this give birth to or arise in one's personality? Greed. And I'll explain the last quarter too and then package these. As for Tama, or laziness, it gives birth or brings up a lot of negativity in our personality. Pramada, which means carelessness. Moha, confusion. Ajnana, which means taking for granted. So much negativity. Now, this is not new to most of you. We explained it, we reviewed it, we reflected on it, we summarized it. So trying to add more reflection, more insights to this verse. Greed is when you care for the relative too much. And pramada, which is carelessness, that's the first negativity, is when you care for the relative too little. Greed too much. I want this. I own this. Carelessness too little. I've forgotten where my stuff is. I don't know who you are. Sattva, or quietness, is the right balance where you are using creation to rise. And so the final thought here is, yes, this is very much like Goldilocks. This bed is too hard, too soft. This is just right. But more so, are you using creation to feel the creator in consciousness, or are you being used by creation, where you become more and more and more limited? That is the English word for this chapter, limits. What's happening to you? Maya is unseen. This expresses as gunas, or qualities, which are still unseen but more seen. Synonyms for Maya, which we've gone through, is vasana. Vasana is unseen. This expresses as gunas. Another synonym, varna. Varna is unseen. This gets expressed as gunas. Sharing all of this in English. And I try to consciously share the reference from our maps and then explain this in English. That way, everyone is clear and I'm clear. I'm not making this up. I'm not a freelancer. I'm not a self-made person. My roots are in the trust triangle. It is the ego that starts to identify and function through the intellect, mind. Maya is the ego. The gunas are seen in the intellect and mind. In chapter 14, verse 4, the reminder for me is creation. Am I using creation to be more authentic and deep to the creator, to consciousness, or am I being used by creation to be more stuck? I've shared this in a different way. Creation can be a helpful relativity in which you are rising to the absolute, or it can be a harmful relativity in which you fall from the absolute more. In verse 17, the reminder for me is causes. Creation is made up of qualities. The sun has a certain quality. Food has a certain quality, and so on. These qualities cause us to feel in a different way. We can be more insightful or more greedy or more careless. These gunas are qualities I want you to try to visualize like a grip. Anyone who's been bouldering or rock climbing, you use that grip. But there is a relationship that you're using the grip, which means you're also going to release yourself from that grip. But if you hold on to that grip and never release yourself, you can't climb then. You can't keep moving forward. Many of us are holding on to these qualities and we're not letting go. My personal experience is, it is through japa, or chanting with the mind, that one releases this grip on these qualities. Deeper than creation is the Creator. Om Namah Shivaya. That's my reminder. In verse 18, we're still in chapter 14, verse 18, Shri Krishna is so specific in sharing that sattva or quietness causes one to move up. Raja or aggressiveness makes one stay. You stagnate. And tama or laziness makes one go down. Up, stay, down. And we should really try to personalize this. Tomorrow, do you want your day to be better, the same, or worse? Obviously better, but that requires one to be active with these qualities, to become quiet,